And it comes all the rain, and it does interviews, taking feedback straight from you. Wednesdays at 8:15, it's time for Contempt. I'm dying time for Contempt. I'm dying time for Contempt. It's time for Contempt. I'm dying.
Finally.
Fucking finally! What the fuck? It works now. Look at that technology.
Are live.
Hey,
We're not on Facebook, but we can do whatever we
That's
want.
because you're the master of the technology. That's why.
yeah, we're not on Facebook because I forget what I did this time. I think it was sarcastic. I don't even think I really threatened a person, but zero tolerance.
Someone's on that this time?
Actually, I've never really threatened anyone in my whole life. I'm a Boy Scout. I just want to let you guys know.
So I think it was a derogatory comment against a group from which you are a part. It's like, right?
It
Didn't
was
you
either
say something
Dagos or
about
Polacks. Yeah.
Was it in the comments section, or did you make a post, or what?
Yeah, I just say whatever. I don't think about it like, oh, that, if you stop playing music, I'm going to beat your ass. That Facebook might go, oh, that guy's going to, that guy. So, I get myself, now I'm in trouble for 30 days, so we're going to be on YouTube for the next 4 weeks.
Wow.
Now
We
I've
might
done
be
it.
in Siberia, but we're not out of yet, folks.
No,
It's the Culture Weekend podcast. If nobody said that, by the way, and we're here with Jennifer Wood, who is not a spiritualist, but something of the like.
I'm a little bit of everything. That's what I was trying to get at. And we lost the connection or whatever. But basically, I borrow from whatever wisdom I come across that seems to make sense with what I try to meet it from both ends, science and spirituality. So I think at some point we're going to be able to explain it all from somewhere in the middle. And, that's what I try to put together the clues that I found on my trail. And then I meet other people, and whoever will stand still long enough to talk about it with me, we chat. And, I'm very chatty. So.
Cool. You do like Reiki, you do charts, and what other kind of stuff?
I don't do charts. That's my mom. She does the astrology in the family. Okay. But I know a little bit about astrology because I grew up with my mom being an astrologer, and she taught us a lot about the different signs and a lot about the different elements and what the elements mean in a person's personality, which comes to what I've used in my tarot knowledge. And, I was self-taught tarot at 19. We did your cards on the last, show. And again, I don't want to take up all that time doing a reading tonight. If we throw a couple cards at the end, that's one thing. But, people get tired. It's interesting the first time,
Right.
But then it's more for the person, individually. But today I spent the day teaching someone Reiki, which is another thing that I do. And the Reiki is really a form of a lifestyle that I've come to adapt for myself, especially with all my health challenges. I got into it as a path of self-healing. And then gradually it led me to what I do in the public now with the readings and the teachings and everything else that I do, because people were like, oh, what are you doing? I like what you're doing. Share it with me. And, even though I got into it, never really intending to use it on other people, I just wanted to use it for myself. It led me into this whole public lifestyle, and now I'm like the crystal queen every weekend up at the crystal shop, and come see our amethyst thrones. Everyone must come sit on the amethyst thrones.
Where is this?
In Wurtsboro. In Wurtsboro, New York. It's Crystal Connection Center.
Okay.
And they're up off of Route 17 in New York State.
Oh, so
like,
yeah,
if you ever been up to like Middletown or Monticello, they're like midway between Middletown and Monticello, New York. So.
And one of the things that I want to ask about they do like what's that? The aura reading that reads your color.
So I have a computer program and a galvanometer and a webcam. And it's part of a software program that we've had since way before I started working there. And I started working there back in like 2012, 2013. And I've been doing these aura readings since 2013. And you take a picture with the webcam and the computer stores the image. And that's just, taking a physical picture. And then I have the person relax. And of course, now with the COVID, I spray everybody with sanitizer first. And I have them touch what is called a galvanometer. And it's similar to the things that measure your heart rate when you're on a workout machine. You know how there's like the metal contacts where you're touching and it'll give you like how many calories in your pulse and like all that kind of stuff. Well, this reads electromagnetic energy in the sense that it's reading what it needs to read in order to apply it to the graphs and charts that it puts up on the screen, and it gives a body image, and it puts the colors around your head and shoulders in like a headshot with your physical picture, and it gives you like a printout. And if you look at my Facebook page, my profile picture is one of the printouts like you would get if you got one of these readings. And you could see it shows you like your chakras, and your chakras are your energy centers in your body. So like they correspond with your physical glands, but they're like, the energy centers in your energy body. And that's where the different colors stem from. And the colors of your chakras from the bottom up follow the colors of the rainbow. If you were a kid, did you ever learn Roy G. Biv as a kid?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you would go from the root up with your Roy G. Biv, and you would know the colors of the chakras because the root is red, the sacral, which is near the belly button, is orange, the solar plexus, which is mid-stomach, but like between the belly button and the chest, that's yellow. The heart is in the center of your chest, that's green. The blue is the bright blue of the throat, right in your throat.
Right.
Oh no.
No.
Well, you got your Roy G. Bivs. So you already know half of what they would teach you in Reiki 1. No.
Nice. Well, I've studied this from philosophy, from a philosophical standpoint, and from world religion, like Hinduism, basically, and Buddhism. I mean, the whole point of Kundalini yoga is kind of get the snake up the spine, and basically, the way they explain it is like you kind of have to get over certain hang-ups or problems at every level. You can get too caught into sexuality. That's one level. You can be caught up with greed or, I guess,
like each area
gluttony and stuff.
Each area dictates a different thing. Yeah.
Yep. And then it's kind of like your developments on the path to enlightenment. But I guess if energies get caught up in any of those chakras, it could also cause illness. Philosophy.
I don't like to necessarily think in terms of blockages or broken that can't be fixed, because the only thing that is constant is change. And even with using this machine, with this computer program, with this sensor, one of the things that I try to do with everybody at the end of the reading is once I tell them about themselves and what their colors mean, and most of the time they tell me I'm spot on, and they're amazed with what I'm saying and, things like that. And then I have them do a simple breathing exercise to show them how you're not stuck, even though you may think you are. And it's like a reconnecting breath. I call it a 2-second meditation. And it gets the train on the tracks every time. And whatever they're worried about, like say one of their chakras was lower, and they're like, because everybody's looking for something that they're going to feel like, because everybody's naturally like that. They come in, they're worried, they're thinking about all the classes and the meditations they've done. I have some people that come back, and after they take a class, they want to see, the changes that have happened, So it's interesting to see the changes. And I know for myself, I have to test that machine every week when I turn it on. And I have a whole collection of all my colors and moods and what I look like this day, and if I remember why this chakra was low that day, or how my energy
changes. It constantly changes.
It constantly changes, and it could change in the moment. And I like to show people, if there's enough time at the end of the reading, a little bit of real time, how the breath will change it. And I let them take a picture of their after image, because usually the colors will shift a little, and some of their chakras may open or shift and go up and down, and different things will move on the graphs and charts. So I let them take an after picture, and if there's enough time, I let it run a little bit so they could watch it with their eyes, and they could try thinking about different things and watching how the machine reacts. So, that's one of the things, because I had one friend when I first learned how to do these readings. He was a real scientist, technical guy. And, he was an engineer by trade and everything. And he looked up the company that, he saw the name of the software on my printout, and he looked them up, and he told me, he goes, well, this is what the machine is and what it does, and blah, 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 blah. And he goes, so what do you think? You think it's BS? And I said, well, all I can tell you is that when I'm talking to people and they have their hand on this machine and I get them to laugh or I get them to relax, it's measuring something. I'm not the scientist that can tell you what it's measuring.
Yeah.
But I could see what it's measuring and know how to read what it's printing up on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and it's interesting. And I've done hundreds, if not thousands by now, because some weekends I could do, the one weekend I did 32 of those readings in one weekend. So, and everybody's different. Everybody's unique. Sometimes you'll have people that spend a lot of time together. Their auras will be very similar, but not always. I could tell the ambidextrous people like that. I've learned how to do that.
That's one thing I want to definitely, when I head to Crystal Connection, I want to check that out. That's one thing that's on my list of that seems like an interesting.
It is. It's totally interesting. And to get the reading, it takes about 15 minutes. And if nobody's there, you get to spend a little extra time. But then they give me the big hook if I'm taking too long. I'm bad like that. I let people stay in my room too long sometimes, but that's why Jason's there now. He's my handler.
Oh, he's like your bouncer?
Yeah. He's like, he walks behind the screen and he's like, and I set a timer, so I know. But he's my legs too, because I'm downstairs, so he runs up and down and gets my clients for me. Because the clients are upstairs shopping in the candy store of the crystals, So,
It's
sitting in the amethyst thrones.
Yeah, it's kind of still socially distanced, I guess.
Not up there.
No, I mean by where you are though. You're.
Where I am, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm separate. Yeah, I'm separate downstairs, and I wear my mask even though I'm vaccinated, because a lot of people up there, they're vaccinated, they're not wearing their masks, and so I wear my mask all the time. So, and I tell people, I'm like, I'm vaccinated, so, but I let people, if they're getting their picture taken, if they want to drop their mask for the picture, this way they're not in their picture. And then most of them, they'll be like, do you want me to put it back on? I'm like, that's up to you. And they'll put it back on. If they don't, I don't mind. Yeah, I'm not paranoid. I know I'm vaccinated, so I'm not worried.
Were people mostly agreeable with that over the whole thing?
Yeah.
That's good.
In general. And most of the people up there have been vaccinated. You'd be surprised how many people that come in there are in the wellness field of healthcare and caregivers and things like that. So
why do you think that is?
Because they're just compassionate people, and they're looking to heal on all levels, and they're open-minded. I've always had a lot of people that were clients that were nurses and caregivers, hospice nurses and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to heal people, my aunt is a nurse, certified, and she'll do I forget what it's called, but it's the touchless healing, where she'll it's like Mr. Miyagi shit. She'll, if your shoulder hurts, she'll put her hands around your shoulder, but not touch you.
That's similar to Reiki.
Oh,
That's similar to Reiki. You
That's-
don't have to touch to do Reiki.
Yeah,
But,
maybe it was Reiki actually. It was so long ago when she said it that I can't remember what it was called. I was like
Well,
a
there's
kid.
many different kinds. There's many different kinds of healing. So
Yeah, it was something though exactly like that kind of reminded me of that, and like I just always thought that was cool. Like they definitely didn't teach her that in med school or whatever, you know, like nursing school. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something she picked up obviously, and probably maybe worked for her or she felt good about it. Like I don't know, I just respected that. Like I thought that was a cool thing.
yeah.
well, they used to give continuing education credits for nurses that took Reiki, but then now they're trying to regulate Reiki and make it a whole big thing because it's been a self-regulating type of thing for as long as it's been around. And the tradition stems from a Japanese man named Mikao Yusui. And I like to say when I'm teaching it that it's no disrespect meant, but it becomes a giant game of telephone because it was an oral tradition. It used to be taboo to write the symbols down and to put them in books and things like that. Now you could find them all over the internet. I even wire wrap little stones that have the symbols on them for people. You know, the symbols are readily known and out there. But
my aunt's got to be like maybe like mid-late 70s. Would that be like around the time, like her age now is mid-late 70s? When she was a nurse, that would have been when they were doing continuing education for that, you think?
Probably, and that was probably very expensive to learn back then, because originally it came over with 22 people from Japan through Hawaii, and then it came to the United States.
Holy
And
shit.
that's how it spread. And now it's very widespread, and people teach it all kinds of ways, including the way that I teach it, which is including archangel material that my original teacher, I've taken it twice over with 2 different teachers and had more than 6 attunements, because the second teacher had more than 1 attunement for each level. So like I've gotten all these attunements from 2 different teachers because originally I took it. There was nothing wrong with the way I learned it, and that's the way I still do it. But as a teacher, when people were like, how is this different from what was originally taught, I wanted to take it again so that I could answer those questions.
That was going to be my question. Like you took it kind of twice. Like what was different A and B?
The first teacher taught it in a more simplistic form, which I'm glad, made it very easy to memorize everything, kept it very succinct and clear. And not that she dumbed it down, because it wasn't dumb at all. And it was just like, here's the meat and potatoes, here's what you need to know. Now here's your training wheels, and do it. And you didn't have to worry about too much, you know.
Okay.
And she did a lot of exercises with the class. She had very big classes. She would have like, say maybe 6 to 8 people in a class, or 3 to 5 people in a class. And she would play like memory games with everybody. And she would go sit in her office and like answer emails. And it would be an 8-hour class, but you were studying with your classmates for 5 of those 8 hours.
Yeah.
So basically I teach one-on-one now. I do it in about 4 to 6 hours, depending on how much discussion there is. Like today, I had a student for 2 hours. We're going to finish up in another 2 hours on Friday. And then I'm going to meet her in like a week and a half to give her attunement, because I believe the attunement should be done in person. But the attunement is really what opens your channel. And when you get the attunement, you enter into a sacred lineage of Reiki teachers and Reiki masters and Reiki students that has gone since the original. You know, it's been passed on. Do you ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon?
Yes.
And you know,
Oh, that's the bald Avatar, not the blue one.
Aang, yes, Aang.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, when he goes in the air temple and like he gets in the Avatar state and all the Avatar's eyes light up, that's what I picture when I picture my Reiki lineage. I'm like,
Wow,
and
man.
it gives you the energy of everything we've ever known intuitively about healing the body through energy healing. And originally the man who brought the modality forward, Mikao Yusui, he was a Christian monk, and supposedly his quest for wanting to bring this information through was he wanted to know, how did Jesus perform the miracles in the Bible? And so he left and meditated for, the story goes, 21 days on a mountain. For 20 days, nothing happened. The 21st day, probably halfway because of starvation and delirium, he gets, information, and he channels this healing modality, and he heals people on the way down the mountain. And the story becomes mythical, like at that point.
Right.
And, I have friends that I met through Facebook that actually have been to Japan and tried to trace the roots. And it's really shrouded in a lot of mystery. And, there's information that's there. But like I said, you never were supposed to write this stuff down. It was supposed to be for the teacher and the student. And, you have everybody now calling themselves a Reiki master teacher. That's an honorary title. That's not something that you earn a piece of paper. That's if you have students and you teach and attune others. It's like a title like sensei. And, everybody thinks Reiki 3 equals Reiki master, and it's, yes, that is the master level where you can be attuned to teach others. But, not everybody that is attuned Reiki 3 is technically a Reiki master unless they're actually teaching and attuning other people. Because so many people get that piece of paper and they're like, well, I'm a Reiki master. Yeah, me too.
So it's kind of like the circle of life. Like you have to keep teaching to be that level.
Well, no, it's just that honorary title that sometimes people think the piece of paper automatically grants you that status, and that it means you're like master of the universe or something like that. It's you're a teacher. That's really what it is.
People are just stupid competitive and things, and like just want to show off.
Yeah, it's like professor. It's not,
It kind of reminds me of like martial arts and like Bruce Lee. Like he invented his own like thing, and like five people knew it.
There's 5 basic principles in Reiki. It's very easy. Okay. There's two things that you will not do, and 3 things that you will do. And everything is just for today, you say. It's like, just today, I will not anger. I will not worry. I will be kind to everything, every living thing. I will be grateful, and I will do my work honestly or diligently. So that's it. Those are the 5 things that you try to live by when you become a Reiki practitioner.
That's pretty easy. That's good.
And then you learn about the chakras. You learn about what the chakras do. Like you were saying, different areas have to do with different, like if you have an energy blockage in a certain area, or, things like that, which chakra will tell you about the emotions, which chakra will have to do with trust issues, which ones will have to do with the sexuality or survival mechanism. There's the ones that have to do with the more mental issues. There's all different things that go on. And, based on what you learn and your intuition, because what the attunement does is it opens you up like this to become more psychic and more intuitive. Some people become what they call medically intuitive. And like that happens on and off with me, where I'll get like, there's something with your left ankle, and the person will say, oh, I broke it years ago, but I'm working on them. I just get this information. And, I never used to be that way until I practiced Reiki.
Interesting.
And I was reading tarot cards for 20 years before I ever practiced Reiki. So,
is there any way to use this for evil? Like I don't know. There's all these comic book movies, like Doctor Strange.
No, it's about intent. It's about focused intent.
Right.
By definition, Reiki cannot be used for evil because it is divine universal life force energy.
Ooh.
So, by definition, it's already intelligent. It knows where it's needed, and technically, you don't even have to direct it. Like basically a jumper cable, You're
the conduit, yeah.
Exactly. That's all you are.
Oh,
you're just giving somebody a boost when they need it, because the body already knows how to heal. If you cut yourself, you start to heal, unless you're diabetic, God forbid.
Yep.
But it gives you that. Or if you Reiki a situation, because sometimes you're going to have situations in life where you don't have individuals' permission, because you should always have somebody's permission if you're going to send them Reiki. And there are ways to backdoor that, where you could send it to their guardian angel or their higher self, and if they accept it, it'll go. Like if they're unconscious or situations that may call for that. Or if you have a situation like, say, a lot of family trauma, and you don't know if you have individual permissions, you could Reiki the whole situation. And what that'll do is that'll speed up the healing of the karma that's involved. It's not like doing a spell, though, because you're not doing anything that wouldn't already happen naturally. So there's a little different implications than if you're doing things like spell work or things where you may take on a little bit of karma. Like I always tell people that do the spell work, oh yeah, it'll work, but watch out with the karma, and watch out with the emotional charge.
What is it with karma? Like you said, heal karma. How can you heal your karma? Isn't karma kind of like written in your actions and deeds?
I believe that what we put out comes back to us like ripples.
Okay.
So I try not to rock the boat. I try to be the best I can be, not because I'm afraid of hell, but because I think that's what we should do, which I think is a lot more admirable than somebody who does it out of a fear of a punishing God.
Right. Yeah.
Like I admire the honorable atheist way more than the person who's afraid of God on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I recently went to a funeral and I was reminded about how, I don't know, just how cultic and kind of garish the Catholic Church is. It's just like every 5 minutes, like, yes, he's the one that you have to make sure that you love him. You gotta make, it's like, okay, calm down. Like, is there any other stuff you're gonna throw at me besides the brainwashing part? But they're really heavy on that. So
you know what else is fucking annoying about the Catholic Church? I'll say.
Okay.
I got arthritis. I don't want to be fucking kneeling every 5 seconds. Oh, Neil, how about you go fuck yourself? How about I just sit or stand, cocksucker? It's enough effort to get up and down. I'm good, fucker.
And there was a huge generational divide between who got up for communion and who didn't. A lot of the young people were just like and the priest even said, oh, you can come up and, just, you can cross your arm and he'll just do a blessing for you. But people didn't even get up for that. And it was like, you can tell, like, my parents' generation older, they all went. And my generation and younger, they all stayed in the pew. It was really funny.
I always tell the priest, just put the communion in my brown eye, and I do the Ace Ventura talking butt thing.
Oh, no.
I just pull, like, the waistband of my pants, and then I just do them eyebrows, and they don't know what to do.
I can't remember the last time I had communion. It had to be during high school, probably.
Yeah, for me too.
I went to Catholic high school and Catholic college, so.
Oh, wow.
I went to Caldwell College for a couple years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dropped out of there too. I finished up elsewhere. I was just having too much fun, to be honest with you. But now let me ask you this: do you think that there is a resurgence in the interest of these sorts of things, or do you think more people are getting interested in Reiki and
maybe? But I think there was a big resurgence around 2012.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole 2012, the end of the world and the new age and, all that stuff. And I think there may have been a little bit of post 2012 blues in a lot of the communities because there used to be different communities that were around and, people moved on, became grandparents, got busy in their lives and, it's the little shops that used to gather with the drum circles and, everything that used to be around. But then new ones pop up, and maybe I'm just old, It's like when you look at the club scene, no more Clash Bar, right? But where are we going to go now?
Well,
right.
That's what I was gonna ask you too. Is do you look at the younger kids, not with a disdain, but there's some of them that are oh, I know everything, and there's some of them that are paying attention and wanting to.
The younger kids are not they know everything, but they do know everything. That's the craziest thing, because they're naturally open to it.
Oh, okay, and that's even better.
You know what I'm saying? But they're not arrogant like that because they come at it. And that's where I love working at the crystal shop because I'll meet the curious-minded newbies and they'll come to me for a reading and they'll be like, I've never had anything like this done before. And I'm like, because like that's my favorite person, because I'm going to give them an authentic experience. I'm not going to be like, oh, let me remove this for $95. Like, I'm here to put those people out of business. Like, don't do that to people. I show people how to take one breath and take their power back from whatever they think is ailing them. And that's what I do with that breathing on that machine, like I was describing. And that's why I try not to use words like blocked or clogged or stuck, because it can be one breath. And the more you practice that one breath, you're good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to go dance naked in the woods. I mean, if you want to, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But, bathe in the moonlight, do whatever empowers you. But
you're basically saying like what every 80s movie told us is like the power is within you.
Right. You had the ruby slippers all along. That's what I started saying when we got cut off. It's all in the Wizard of Oz. It's the spiral within the spiral of the yellow brick road. And really, that's what we're doing. We're on the Earth. We're on the sun. We're on the galaxy. We think we're going somewhere. We're really not. We're just exploding. It all goes to the Emerald City, right?
People say we're going to have the Big Bang over again.
Oh, I got some.
Take you away.
I got some listener questions from Gina.
Okay.
She says, "Can anyone learn Reiki? Are some people able to learn it more than others?"
Some people may naturally do it, but it's helpful to take the classes and get the attunement, because it is driven by the attunement process. So there is an added dimension that comes from receiving the attunements. That's why you're attuned into the sacred lineage. And it is like, I know I compared it to a cartoon, but if you understand what that cartoon is about, it's a pretty profound thing, that you become part of a greater whole, that it's more of like a collective intelligence that you're able to channel through getting these attunements.
That was a great question. And Paul, you read it like the 8th grade student who wasn't paying attention. This is going to read. Great.
Yeah, I changed the phrasing. Sorry, Gina. She also bitched about kneeling in church.
Yes.
Which also wasn't what she said. I changed the phrasing on that too.
I don't think I'd be able to get up very quickly these days. So if I do get down, I'm not getting up very quickly. So. And
then finally, she also says, I
could do a sit stand like a motherfucker though. I do those all day long at rehab.
I think this is like the female vernacular for "you're the man." Jen, you are the woman.
Ooh.
So,
look at that, huh?
Which I agree. It's the best.
Thank you.
Jennifer, one of the reasons why I asked you that earlier is because, like, like if you study like history and stuff like that, it's like whenever there's great technological change, there's often a resurgence of interest in the occults and paganism and stuff like that. Like we saw that kind of like in the 19th century with the seances, and in the 1800s with like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the Romantics and stuff like that. So I was just wondering if, like, we have like robotics on the way, we have like self-driving cars are coming, the internet, now everybody's working from home. I mean, we're doing this remotely. Like, I wonder if there's a resurgence.
Does Elon Musk worship Satan?
The internet, when you think about it, is already like the nervous system of the planet, because it reacts immediately to everything. Because everybody is live on some kind of social media nowadays. If they're not on one, they're on something else. So even if they're anti-Facebook or anti-Twitter or anti-Instagram or whatever they do nowadays, I don't even know, because I gave up after Facebook. I still want MySpace back, because we had music on MySpace. And we had pretty backgrounds on MySpace with little space, galaxies and things like that.
Goddamn right,
I had a pretty page on MySpace. But, I don't know. Like, I think that if you think about it, the world is becoming more in tune just from that aspect. And, it's sort of like an immediate pulse of the planet, emotionally, with everybody's collective reactions to everything. And if you look up This is something people could look up on their own. It's called the heart math, MATH. Heart as in like your heart in your chest.
Yep.
And math, like 6 to 8 mathematics, math.
Right.
Gotta get it in there.
Beautiful.
But anyway, the heart math, they do global coherence initiative experiments. And they've been tracking through random number generators and these eggs that they planted, they call them regs. They planted them at different points in the Earth's crust. And they measure whenever there's like a global event. And like before Princess Diana was killed, it registered like a spike. And then hours later, she was killed and the public reacted. They had like a spike before 9/11 that they tracked. And I'm sure, because I stopped paying attention to the latest news with it, but I'm sure they've had all kinds of different, if you go back and read what they've tracked so far, but they've been tracking the public's reaction through these devices and the shifts in the random number generators that are connected to them. And of course, my husband and I like to gamble, so we wanted to know how to affect random number generators. So we were like following, how to do that, and we were trying to meditate and do different things. We had like different books we got to try to hone our skills, and I think my husband was a lot better at it than I was. But
I don't want to derail the conversation, but you guys do the gambling like online from home, right?
Right, yeah, because we're in New Jersey.
I've never done that before. What is that like? Is that like you feel secure doing it?
Yeah, because they know, they locate you. You have to like sign up, and you have to hook up your accounts and everything. But you sign up, and they put like a tracker to your computer so that they can tell if you're in the state, and you agree that they're going to do that because they got to make sure you're within state lines.
Yeah.
And we used to have trouble back in the day because we're so close to the border up here where we live, but now it's fine. Yeah. And they don't have every single machine that they would have at the casino, but they've got slots, they've got video poker, they've got video roulette, they've got all kinds of shit.
That's what I was gonna say. You could do like roulette and stuff like that, and
all the casinos have it now, and like most of them will give you like a match play thing, but you got to watch, because if you sign up, they'll tell you have to play your bonus like 50 times before you could cash out your winnings. Yeah. So you got to watch when you sign up like what you're agreeing to. But some of them, like there was one I saw the commercial for the other day that he was going to check out because it was like you only had to play through your bonus once. But he goes to like Borgata sometimes. He goes to Tropicana sometimes. And really, he'll only play when they give him like free money,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he wins, so no problem there.
Nice.
I always say it's not a gambling problem if you win.
No, it's a gambling solution.
My brother-in-law calls it a part-time job, but he's sports betting. He watches every game. So, I mean, this guy, like, when there was no sports, he was like betting on like Russian ping pong, literally Russian ping pong, in the middle of the pandemic because there was nothing else to bet on.
Dude,
and he wins.
I used to hang out with this guy that was like a degenerate gambler, and he fucking ended up like. He used to bet on the WNBA, and I was like, why do you bet on the WNBA? He goes, because nobody fucking watches it. And he goes, I can call the games within like 5 points. Like he was really good at like figuring out. And he would fucking win money all the time on him until I guess he didn't. And I guess somebody took his little ass and dragged him outside of a car like a cartoon while they were driving. Because he apparently just looked like fucking like the Terminator. Like half his body was all like mangled and shit. Yeah, probably from his gambling debts. I don't even know if that guy's still alive anymore after COVID. Not because of COVID, because of bookies.
Yeah. Oh man.
Do you guys have like your social life back now, kind of a little bit?
It's itching back by degrees, I think. But I've also moved to the sticks, so it's like people are a little more spread out. But I mean, I went to a barbecue on Monday. It was super cool with an old buddy of mine, my girlfriend and his girlfriend. So that was nice. We had a family party for my little cousin's graduation from high school. We were all outside in the backyard. That was fine. Like, So yeah, slowly but surely, I think we're getting like back to quote unquote normal. What about you, Jennifer?
I've been, like I went to my family barbecue Sunday and I wasn't wearing the mask. I was fine. Like I said, I'm vaccinated, so
Me too.
I'm pretty chilled about it. I even forgot my mask. Where the hell did I go in? I went into some store. Oh, the apple pie store. And I forgot my
What?
mask in the car in Pennsylvania, the apple pie bakery.
God
Oh my God.
damn, I gotta go there.
In Delaware Water Gap. You look up Apple Pie Bakery. It's like some farm stand.
Okay.
And but if you type in Apple Pie Bakery like Stroudsburg or Delaware Water Gap, it'll come up.
Okay.
And they make like all kinds of homemade stuff. They had homemade jam. They had like honey, like local honey.
I
The
think
honey
that's
was
the
from
pie
my column
place.
store.
I think that's the pie place they went on The Office.
Ah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what that's like based on. It's gotta be if they have all kinds of different crazy pies and shit.
But we went there and I forgot my mask outside and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going in. I don't care. I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to like breathe on anybody. I'm like, I'm vaccinated. So
Right.
I read the room. Like if I like look in the shop and I see the guys like wearing a mask, like I'll put it on. But
well, the funny thing was that I got in there at the right time because when we walked in there were 2 people in there, and by the time we left, the place was filling up and it was getting like way too people-y for me. So it was like, I'm good, I'm gone, and I was like out, and like it was just like worked out perfectly.
that's
so
your psychic intuition.
it just works out.
That's awesome.
Sometimes it does.
Right. But do you get a lot of people that have a lot of serious illnesses or anything like that looking for Reiki?
Oh, yeah. I've had people who come to me who have been, going through chemo and getting cancer treatments and things like that. In fact, the one time when the Fox News came to the shop, there was a woman, one of my clients that had come. They actually interviewed her. And she shared her story with them about, what she was going through with her health and why she came for the Reiki and everything. And, that was fun because the Fox News came, it was like the Channel 5 news, not like the,
What
the
an
national.
odd, I gotta say, like, of all the news places I think would go there, that would be like the last one I would think would be like conducive.
It was a public interest story. It was a public interest story that Reagan Neji, who was the reporter, one of her friends, she was in some yoga place doing another story, and there were like the singing bowls. And the person told her, if you like the singing bowls, you have to check out this shop in New York State. So she looked up the shop and she decided she wanted to do a story on the shop.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was really cool. She brought her cameraman and like she came up and I just happened to luck out that day and have a client that wanted me to go up there that day because I wasn't scheduled to be up there. And what do you know?
Wow.
That's awesome.
And it was awesome. And I got to do the aura thing with her. And she liked it. And, they did the tourmaline test with her. If you go up there, if it's not too busy, you have to have someone do the tourmaline test on you.
Yeah, what's the tourmaline test?
Well, I don't want to tell you what it is because I don't want it to affect, what your reaction may or may not be.
Oh,
but it's something that they do with a piece of black tourmaline, and they have you hold it, and they show you the effects, that it, it can have. So, and they guide you, how to do it. So, but now it's a lot harder when you come because the place is usually packed with people. They just added a whole addition, which is where they have the amethyst thrones now, because the thrones used to be outside, but now they're all inside.
Holy shit, they were outside.
Yeah. And they own the 2 buildings on either side of the church now. The one on the left is like their wholesale building where they have a lot of their wholesale, pieces and things like that, because they also do wholesale as well as retail. Then they have their retail space, and then they have to the right of the shop, if you're standing in front of it looking at it, there's above the barber shop is a Airbnb that's all crystal themed. So,
oh shit.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So if you like crystals, that's the fucking place to go. Spend the weekend, get the Airbnb,
Mhm.
Yep.
get a reading, get
Yep.
the aura reading, get some Reiki, get all that shit.
Well, right now there's nobody really giving Reiki on the weekends because we don't have a space to do it. But if I could get a space to set up a table, we're supposed to have a salt cavern soon too.
Oh, sure.
Are they making a salt cavern, or are they digging one out somewhere?
No, they're building it in the basement. They have the room like all set up, but they got the pile of salt in there. It's just got to be like chipped away. But it's amazing what they're doing in the basement. So I have my little room in the basement that they fixed up for me, but the rest of the basement's not even finished yet. So
It's crazy.
That's
it is.
cool.
Yeah, and like if you go there, they have so much stuff to see. You could spend the entire day looking at everything and still not see everything because
Wow.
there's so much stuff. I mean, there's jewelry, there's carvings, there's rough material, there's tumblestone, there's wands, there's you name it, and they've got it. And if they don't get it, they'll try to get it for you, you know? So
You know what? I'll tell you, I'm home and I'm about 9 beers in today, all week from work because I just took the week off. I want to go check that place out. Maybe I'll take a road trip up there one of these days because, like, that just seems like a cool ass thing to see.
if you guys took probably 17 up, I don't know from where you're at, 17 may be the way to go. But I don't know, like Google it, see what happens.
Yeah, I'll see. I think it's like an hour.
Sullivan Street, Wurtsboro.
Yeah, I think it was like an hour. I looked it up one time.
Yeah. And it's worth the ride, especially if it's a nice day.
Oh, I like kind of like a nice ride on the highway when the traffic moves. When it doesn't, I curse and yell.
Yeah.
And that's
the
when
way I go back roads because I'm like right over the mountain. So I'm only like 40 minutes away right over the mountain. So I my big thing is whether or not the cows are going to be crossing the street when I go by and whether or not I got to cross over the poop. I hate tracking cow poop in my garage. That's one of my pet peeves. I'm like, I hate driving over this cow poop.
Well, on that note, usually we start to wind down the show. Do you have an asshole of the week?
Yes, I do, especially after last night. Last year, the year before, right before the COVID hit, my husband did all the research, and he's a very diligent researcher. And I'm going to try to tell a story so he doesn't come in here and yell at me for getting it wrong. But he is listening, I'm sure. But anyway, he did do diligent research, and he found this company to give us solar panels. And the salesman convinced him to get also, instead of, we were going to get like a regular generator, you know, but I never wanted like gas or propane because I don't think it's safe, you know. We don't have any natural gas up here in the house. It's all electric, right? And we have oil heat, you know, but we have well water and stuff. So anyway, we get the solar panels and the salesman convinces my husband to get this extra add-on solar cell battery that's supposed to work like a generator when the power goes out. And he tells my husband, oh, no problem. You'll be able to run your whole house. Right? Truth be told, at the end of the story, after the hemming and the hawing and all the testing, we thought we'd have power to the bedroom, power to the refrigerator, power, but like to run the water, but not have hot water. You know, this way we could still flush the toilet and shit, like even if we couldn't take a hot bath. But, you know, if we needed water, we could bathe in cold water. And, you know, we had like the power in the one room and everything else, right? So the power goes out yesterday. Jason's not home because he's out trying to replace our refrigerator because that decides to go after 40 years. And the power goes out and I'm waiting for it to kick back on. It finally kicks back on. And because I never shut the air conditioners off, the air conditioners drain the solar cell like that. By the time Jason gets home and shuts the air conditioners off, we've only got about 30% power left on the solar cell. So needless to say, I was in trouble, which I was not happy about. And my asshole of the week is the salesman who freaking lied. because like the company's electrician has been really good with my husband and has helped him, like was even on the phone with him last night trying to help him out and everything. But every step of the way, that salesman freaking lied. And I hate salesmen that freaking lie. So that guy is the asshole of the week.
Well done. That's a good one.
Phil, who's your asshole of the week? Your barber?
Who's my? No, I know. I need to go to the barber, but just for this, not for this. Same. Who's my asshole of the week? I gotta think of one. I didn't even have one prepared this week. It's been a pretty chill week, so I don't know what to tell you. Oh, Bill Cosby. That's my asshole of the week. Oh yeah, ask that out.
He's a great man. He's a great man. How dare you?
He's gonna move to you, Paul.
No, that's. I'll tell you something, man. Norm Macdonald was onto him so early. Like a lot of comedians, I think, knew of his shit. But like, there's him on The View where they're like saying shit about like, oh, you know, you said something bad about Bill Cosby. He's like, no, Bill Cosby's a great man. There's never been any allegations.
Oh man!
Like he's being totally fucking sarcastic, and it's genius. Chef's kiss to Norm Macdonald for that. Yeah, Bill Cosby is a piece of shit. And you know what? To piggyback on that, because I really haven't left the house that much, and when I have, it's been kind of pleasant. My asshole of the week is Felicia Rashad for upsetting everyone on Twitter by supporting Bill Cosby. Yeah, I'll tell you, Norm Macdonald had a lot of good points too. That his job on that show was as like, he delivered babies. His job was looking at women's pussies all day, as Norm Macdonald says. That's a really fucked up job for a sitcom. So I'll leave us with that. Like, yeah, Bill Cosby is a piece of shit, and so is that salesman. He's like the Bill Cosby of solar panels.
That's right.
So on that note, we're going to get the fuck out of here. Love you guys. Peace out. We out of here.
It's been real.
Oh, that's good shit.